Alright, well, what's your experience with graffiti? Like, how did you get started?
I got started with graffiti when I was about 13 or 14 years old. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and kind of south of the Pennsylvania border in like Fairmont, West Virginia, like college towns where it's like old coal mining towns, old steel towns where it's just everything's run down and there's trains going everywhere. And so it's kind of like, I didn't really get into graffiti as an art form. I got into more tagging, like, you know, you get your signature down and see who can put it in the craziest fucking place in the city, the highest, the most daring place that you can put it, painting trains and stuff like that. And it was more so just like a thing for us to do because there's nothing to do up there.
So it wasn't about the messages, but like...
No, at first it wasn't. It was more so about like rite of passage, is like manhood, you know, like outdoing each other, okay. and going up and covering your friends out, like crossing them out and you know, seeing who can get higher, who can get farther, who can get more dangerous, you know, who can get closer to the cop station and without getting caught. And you know, it was really fun. I mean, there are so many street artists now and so many different forms of street art. The difference I think between graffiti and street art would be street art is in this time more of a performance art, more of an exposition where it's, you know, it's like, oh, we're gonna use chalk and make this crazy 3D drawing that only looks cool from one angle. And not that I'm against that. I mean, I think that stuff's really cool, but it's not the guerrilla warfare that graffiti is. Graffiti is, you're walking down your street and between every building there's a fucking billboard for McDonald's or for Wells Fargo Bank or who the fuck ever, and it's like, well, I don't like looking at that shit, so I'm gonna put what I want to look like up there. It's like taking our streets back from the big advertising companies and the big companies that think they can come in and make us look at their shit. It's like, well, instead of that, I'm gonna make everybody look at my shit because that's what I want to see whenever I walk down my street. And street art doesn't really do that. Street art's trying to evoke some emotional state, and graffiti's not about that. It's about the raw, brutal, like, these are our streets, this is what we believe in, this is what we want to see. Kind of like counter advertising, sort of. Without getting too specific for legal reasons, I mean, there's a safe spot in Fort Worth that's referred to as the Tombstone. It's one of the best places to paint. It's underneath an overpass. There's a train that runs through there and two probably 100-foot walls on either side. And it's a really good place that all the graffiti artists in the area know about. So you can go down there and throw something up and then come back in 2 weeks and see if anyone covered you up yet. And if not, you know, you feel real cool. But if you did get covered up, you're like, okay, what can I do that's better than what he put on top of my shit? And so it constantly pushes you as an artist and constantly pushes you to evolve. And I mean, that's one of the cool places. One of our places just got taken away from us. The Baker Hotel in Fort Worth was literally like a graffiti museum. I mean, you walk in it was a condemned hotel, but you walk in the bottom floor and it was like walking into Walmart if there was nothing in there and every wall was just covered. There's just like two rules in graffiti. One is don't cover them up if you can't do something better than what they did. And that's just like the ultimate respect rule. And there's another one that originated in like East LA. It's called Consafos, which is like C/S. And it literally translates to like with protection, which means like if someone puts up a piece and it's a dope piece and they mark it Consafos, that means like if you fuck with this, we will find you and you will get fucked up. Dead of night.
Anytime at night? Between
10 and 2, cops start heading to the bars about 10 and they start watching for people leaving the bars at 2. I mean, you just gotta think. You gotta be smarter than the cops, really. But there's no really good time to go. Like, you always run the risk of getting caught, which is part of the fun of it. You think, you kind of get an idea of your head, like what kind of colors you want to use, and you just head out, and as soon as you see a spot, you know, you're like, all right, we're gonna paint there, or you have a spot in mind already, and you just kind of stake it out for 15, 20 minutes, and as soon as you think you got a good idea of what's going on, then just bomb as quick as you can, and just get out of there. You know, we have a word for those people. They're hood rats. You know, they're not the guys that go and put up this beautiful piece of art, because if they are, they don't associate with that stuff. You know, I've seen a lot of like gangsters that are awesome, but you know, they've grown up and they've realized the error of their ways, and it's the little shit like that, like the gang graffiti, that gives it all a bad name, because it's kind of like you go into a low-income neighborhood and you see a bunch of graffiti and you automatically assume, oh, there must be gangs here. And I think the term graffiti, which came from the word to mark, is starting to get skewed, where it used to be just paintings on walls. Well, what about back in prehistoric times? Like when we were living in caves, we did graffiti. We scratched on the walls to let people know we were here. And it's like, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily gang related, because we hate those people just as much as the whole community hates those people. And not just because we get lumped in with them, just because they disrespect us the same way they disrespect everybody else. And they give us a bad name because people call us lowbrow artists, or they don't give us any kind of credit for the type of art we do, because they think, oh, well, if any, you know, gangster punk can do it, then, you know, there's no real credit to it.